Hello and welcome to a new lesson, Understanding MapReduce Mechanism. In this lesson, we would understand how MapReduce works and how to break a problem into a MapReduce solution. Input to map is split. A split would contain many records. Each record would go through the same map operation one by one. Map function has input in the form of keys and values and output in the form of keys and values as well. At the time of input, Hadoop supplies the key which is unique to every record. It is by default byte offset from the start of the file. It can be record number or line number as well. Programmer does have some control over the input keys, which we would learn about later in the course. Map processes keys and values one after the other to produce 0, 1 or more output key value pairs. So the important thing is that the map would output key and value pairs. Please note that these key and value pairs would be the same in case if default mapper is used, which is also known as identity mapper, which does nothing but copies the key and value pairs from input to output with no processing in between. Another thing to note is, while the input to map function generally have unique keys, the output of the map would generally have non-unique keys. We would design the map function so. This would be helpful for us later in the reduce phase because we will sort the data on the basis of keys and would like to make sense of the values with the same keys. So the main idea of the map function is to divide the input key into keys and values in such a way that the values when put together for the same key start to make sense. We'll understand this later in the simulation, so let us move ahead with the simulation. So the whole input would be processed and output would be created. The map output would be shuffled and sorted on the basis of keys. So now all the values from the same key are put together. Now these values are fed into the reducer. The intermediate key value output would be created by multiple maps. It is critical for the MapReduce framework that one particular reducer gets all the values for a particular key, or then we won't be able to make sense of any value. This whole mechanism of sorting the data and sending of data over the network is all managed by Hadoop itself, and programmer need not program anything for this. That is the beauty of MapReduce framework. I want you to notice here that the reduce input is in the form of a key and list of values associated with the key, and not just key value pairs. Moreover, values for a key are not sorted. They are taken from so many map tasks and are put together. Maps may finish at different times, so the data would be gathered randomly. So every run of the job may result in a different sequence of values for a key. The sequence of values is not important here. The reduce function is called for each key, and reduce function processes each value one by one. For each key and list of values, reducer may choose to output 0, 1 or more key value pairs. Please note that the output of a reducer would be sorted as it is receiving the input in the sorted manner. Now let us see how to decompose a problem into a MapReduce solution. The basic trick is to reverse engineer. Identify how the final output should be, then you should be able to find out how the input to reducer should be, which in turn would help you to find the key. Identifying key solves half the problem. Then you can find how the input data should be broken into key and value by map and thus find a solution. So now I give you a challenge to solve. We look at a Hello World equivalent example in Hadoop, the word count problem. In this, if your job is fed with the line to be or not to be, your job should turn it into word followed by the occurrences of word in the record. So the output here is 2, 2 as the word 2 appears twice in the input, and b, 2 as b appears twice in the input, and so on. This is a common technique which search engines apply to the content of the website to find the relevant keywords for the website. The most occurring words are taken as relevant keywords to the website. So the next challenge here is to find out how your map should break the input record to keys and values so that reducer would be able to produce the output as shown. In the next lecture, we'll discuss the solution.